see us running state to state. The way that we be tipping, man, up this on some other shit. Down on this dude. What you mean? That's another chick. Coming in, going out on some other shit. Try to rip us off, best believe it, that's a no-go. Never trust nobody, even family, that's a no-no.
I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. Put up or shut up. Put up or shut up. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper.
Neck frozen on my neck on, cheat codes to the game though. Big tipping on the regular, then jet became a schedule. I got it straight out of mud, I do not need a judge. My money do not budge, money local counted up. My roses is looking real cold, I diamond shining with the gold. Maybe I cheated it up, put it right there on the stove. I'm just a thing you don't know, I'm just a thing that I don't show. I got the game in a chokehold, you try to steal from me, I know. Bank account, big account, I'm about to tip you now. Look, I got a bounce, I do not play around. I'm at the records now, stand up and pipe it down. Regular tipping like wow, I'm paying you, don't need to frown.
I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. Put up.
Welcome to the Power of Voices and the Comedy Hour Live. You know me, Anna Marie. I got my guest tonight in the house, Mr. Jeff Husbands. That is with an S, right?
Yes.
Which I find so ironic because, you know, I have an ex-husband now, and it's like, you know, the idea of hooking up with somebody named Husbands is kind of... Is that a real name?
Yeah.
It is, huh?
If you Google me, here's the blessing. If you Google me, I come up first, Jeff Husbands. But right after that, then it comes married husbands, TV shows of husbands, and a lot of homosexual stuff going on. But thank God I'm first on the list.
Thank God you're first on the list. Yeah,
I'm not in the middle.
Yeah, I always wonder if you can gauge how important a person is by how far they are on a Google list.
Really?
If you know, when they come up in a search, yeah, when you go to Google and you put their name in, if they pop up within the first, 5 names, I figure, oh man, they're gonna be pretty important. I think
there's only 3 husbands in California.
Really?
My mom, somebody else, and only 4. I think it was 400 husbands on the planet, something like that. You know, what's weird is some guy in NASA, in the propulsion lab a couple years ago, his name was Husbands. And I was in the Forest Service once, and I stationed with this guy, Mark Husbands. We weren't related.
And like the oddity of being around people with your name.
It's kind of weird, right?
It is
and I met
weird.
a girl with wives, and she was in the Forest Service. That's not a lie.
These are not true statements? What?
No, I don't lie either, by the way.
Oh, well,
I may exaggerate.
You may exaggerate just slightly. Well, that's showbiz, but...
Right, that's why.
You do know, yeah. I did... I was 18 years old on the dance floor. My maiden name's Lentini. And I'm dancing with this kid, and I said, hey, what's your name? You know, you do that, and he goes, Tony. I go, I got a brother, Tony. What's your last name? He says, Lentini, which is identical to my name. And that's not a common name.
You were cousins.
So now, I was like... Is it spelled the same? So we're exchanging licenses to validate the fact that he actually had the same name. But it just is, it's a weird oddity to be out of billions of people that you're dancing with the one person that has the same name. Yeah, it's kind of freaky.
You're from New York or Boston?
You know, that never-ending that doesn't matter.
I know.
You know, you said you're from here.
Ojai, California.
Ojai, really? So that's got to be trippy.
Trippy, right?
Yeah, yeah. And you sound like, you know, I mean, as far as the amount of traveling that you've done in your lifetime, I mean, you're another story of this wasn't your forte. You said you came from construction.
Yeah, originally the Army, and then after you get out of the service, you know, you can become a cop or a firefighter.
Oh, yeah?
So I went to the Forest Service. Did
that had to be a great job.
Yeah, I fought a lot of fires. You know, the hot shot crews and stuff.
Oh, well, maybe
Search
not so
and
much
rescue
fun. That's serious shit.
It's great stuff.
Okay, that makes so much sense to me that the type personality, because when I was in Boston, I ran the bar, we had the firefighters. I had one nutbag who used to come in with his coffee cup and get wine before he went on duty, and I'm like, don't fucking come to get me in your ladder, okay, just so you know. But I'm just really amazed that there's a type of psyche for doing I mean, why would anybody want to run where everybody's running away from, and be the guy who's putting out fires?
My psychiatrist said this was interesting because I have done some good things in firefighting too, right, and in the service, but I like that. Like if I was, this is how I was. If I could save a couple people and then die afterwards, right? It'd be fine with me.
Really?
Same with the war. If I could die there, I'd be a hero, right? Now, here's when my psychiatrist broke it down 20 years later. He said, your ego is so huge that it would die to look good. And I thought, oh my God, I got to chill out.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, you can, wherever I am in a club, you can hear me laugh, but that is...
That's good. I need you 11th. October 11th. At the
October 11th, you got some
Thursday.
Stuff going on.
Yeah. But I need you to come. Can you come?
October 11th. Because I'm editing my tape.
I know 11th. You are. Do that in the day. I heard you in there. I caught that.
After 4.
Oh, you got to leave.
What time's your gig?
It's 7:30, but you'll be back by 9. You take a break. Take a 2-hour break.
Well, it's pretty much it's not that hard.
I want
to take
people to
5
meet
down
you
to
there
2.
and stuff.
Yeah, I'm all about
sense.
that. It's network to get work. I'm all about that.
Okay, so bring the editor with
now,
you.
where is it going to be?
Okay, that's 7:30. It's called the Maya Show. Maya and Heather McConnell, we're a team. Maya has a radio thing too at the Dash Radio.
Funny as shit, man.
And then she got an Incognito on the 18th.
And tell them why that is.
Oh, Maya is black and Italian.
All right,
and
Sicilian.
very light skinned.
When I saw her on her little clip that you had sent me, I was like, oh my, she probably has to present that, because can you imagine getting, because the way attitudes are nowadays, oh my God, there's so much going on. It's like the most, it's like I had to unplug. Me either. I'm trying to figure that out.
Get on the radio.
But there's so much going on in the climate of, like, you say one wrong word to anybody and everybody's going off. Everybody's over the top, emotional, tweaked. That's what we used to call
testy.
it. Huh?
It is. It's testy. Yeah. But you know what? In the comedy thing, I produce a lot of shows. I've produced a lot of shows. And Adam Barnhart, produced shows with him, been with him for a long time. Been in the Comedy Store for 5 years. And the Improv, I've noticed there's a change, this woman empowerment thing. It's really not women empowerment. Here's the deal. Women empowerment, it's just women want to be treated equal. How is that empowerment? You know what I mean? like they want to go to the job and have a man not
Those
come
bitches.
up on it.
I like that.
They don't want to come up on it.
Right.
Why do they have to be sexually harassed?
Right.
Or flirted with before they go on stage? How is that asking a lot? Right?
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's funny you should mention that. One of the things that I have 2 daughters. And one of the things that, when I see a little girl, she's all dressed up, it's like that mentality when you grow up as a little girl, what a beautiful dress, go show your father how pretty you look.
Right.
And there's a sense of, like, with the boys, nobody ever said, oh, your suit looks really good, go show your mother how pretty you look. You were handsome, you were debonair, look straight in your shit out and go out the door. But, all that primming and everything for girls.
Or they show up in flip-flops and shorts.
Right.
And the woman's been getting ready for 8 hours. Maya does a whole set on it. You'll get her next week.
Oh, that I would love to see that.
You got to see her set. It's crazy.
I have, like, a lot of similarities with women who bring up their mothers, that she brought her mother up in the light that she did. And, I was telling my mother that I was going to do stand-up. My mother's in Boston. She's 83. She says, I better get some residuals. I go, how do you even know what that means?
My mom's 82, and I lie to her about comedy. Because when I first started, she's like, oh, that's great. Then I started getting kind of popular. She's like, because I'm a single father. I also raised a daughter. I've had her for 11 years.
Wow.
Just me and her. She's getting a 4.0. She's on track. But my mother's... Fast forward 4 months, I'm still doing comedy. She's like, now what are you doing that stuff for? You're going to get popular, going to go on the road, put a needle in your arm, do cocaine, drink with whores, get AIDS, right? You can't do it. And then she's going to become a whore because you're not going to be home. I'm like, God, I've already had that career?
Right.
And then you got to put a gun to your head because you're rich.
Right. I always was amazed that my mother, we all joke about that. My mother, every story, if somebody's dead, it's like, Martha. And you know what happened? They died, right? They either died or they're retarded. Now, he fell off the counter and he hit his head. Don't put her up there. And your cousin and blah, blah, blah. And now he's retarded. Okay.
Yeah. Well, my mom decided to give up on anything negative. Okay. So I'm the only kid, son, and I call her and, so what's going on? It's like, I don't know if I'm going to make rent, right? I got a few weeks, but it looks bad. She's like, oh, I know what you mean. My gas bill, everything my mom has is paid off, okay? My dad left her. She's fine, right? 2 houses and all that stuff. Oh, I know what you mean. I mean, what? They raised the gas bill $7. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm like, I'll just pay the $7. Well, I have to go to Hawaii, and then we promised to go to Fiji, and then I'm going to Vegas. That's my mother. She can relate to my problem.
Oh, very much so. Well, wait. I have that joke when I've gotten to the point with my mother where I'm able to say, oh, wait, so this is all about you now. And she'll actually, because somehow that story is going to just turn around it's all about you now. And then there's, when your mother, being a parent, when your mother comes flying out of your face.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden you just hear it and just like, it's like, did I actually say, oh my God, we make, I don't know any comedian with kids who doesn't represent I'm sounding like my mother, I'm sounding like, and then my father.
I limit my words because she came to me and said, medically, I can't hear negativity. Medically? Yeah, medically. So now it's this. How are you? I'm fine. How are you? Fine. Is everything good? Everything's good. Okay, bye. That's all we cover.
Yeah, my mother's like, is everything all right out there? You do it? Because, it's like if I say, I've never asked my mother for anything in the fortune and gold that my mother has. My mother's the woman. Oh my God! The amount of jewelry this woman has is just I had Jimmy put the sacks of jewelry into the security deposit because I'm going away. I'm just bringing my 4 boxes with me, and you girls are going to be all set because I'm going to leave you all the gold. I don't have anything written down, and you guys are going to have to figure it out. Yeah, that's always fun. That's always fun. So we're just going to blindfold ourselves, get a piñata, go for it. What?
My mom's leaving me pots and pans, and she put blue tape on them already.
Did she really? Oh, okay, you got the blue tape?
They bought them in 1971. I remember because back then, I don't know if you guys dealt with this, but the pots and pan guy would come, to the house. Now he'd come, then they'd make an appointment. Then he'd come back to the house and bring the pots and pans, certain ones. It'd be about a 4-hour lecture. On why you're going to buy these pots and pans. Because I think my dad paid $1,000 for them, in the 70s, for these pots and pans. And I remember it was hours. I was a little kid. But he was in there selling these pots and pans. They got them. And I swear to God, she still got them. And they still are amazing.
Only from my family owned restaurants. And there's something about when I left my husband, I took 4 pans. Out of those were coming with me.
Certain pans, yeah.
Certain pans, I would not leave them behind. And I got rid of 32 years worth of stuff. But it was funny. A friend of mine, I says, how am I even going to do this? And she said, all right, there's a fire. You got 3 minutes. Grab a small box that you can carry and time yourself.
Is
and
she from Boston, too?
Whatever. Oh, yeah. Whatever you can
crazy.
Get, $3.
That's your analogy.
And I was like,
account,
all right, but it really did. I mean, when you think about that, all right, out here you got earthquakes. If you had to run out the door, all of a sudden,
what would you take?
What? Well, that's my other invention.
Pair of shoes
that I have. Well, my first tremor here. Now I'm not from here, right?
Oh yeah.
So it felt like something hit the side of the house, like a truck.
Right? Yeah.
And I was like, "What the?" And the girl said, "Oh, I think that was an earthquake." So now I'm like, "Is there more coming?" Because my feet went like this on the wood floor.
Oh,
it was it was a 2.9, and they're like, "That's nothing."
We're safe,
right? All right, yeah, right. So I'm sitting here going, "All right," but I made sure my sneakers. I debated whether or not I should sleep with them on or just leave them by the door because if I had to get out and I had to run,
you were that worried.
Earthquake, yeah. If you've never experienced,
you gotta look good when that house is collapsed.
Hey, I moved to Florida to a place that they told me hurricanes didn't happen, and 2 weeks later, Hurricane Charlie bullseyed hit where I was living. $57,000 worth of damage to my house later.
Wow.
Things all coming in, being locked and hunkered down. And let me tell you something. If Jim, in Florida, it's got to suck right now. You got that hurricane coming at you. If Jim Cantori shows up in your neighborhood,
Yeah, you're in
you
trouble.
don't need to be there. Get the fuck out.
Oh, God.
I'm always amazed at people who
No, they sit
we
there
tell
at
them
the
to
beach.
evacuate,
At the
and they're
beach.
like, "Oh no, we're gonna ride this out." What are
Yeah.
you crazy?
And why are you writing it out? Because
What for?
even if your house survives, right?
Right.
You can't go to the store.
Nope.
You can't
13
leave.
days without power. You
Yeah,
get that
what
right.
the hell?
In Sweat, we felt like we lived in a circus because all you could hear at night were the generators.
Did you stay there?
I was stuck there 13 days.
Why?
With no power.
You stayed?
Yeah, I had nowhere to go.
Nobody
you couldn't
wanted
get
to
out.
leave.
There was no.
Before the storm, why didn't you leave?
Well, because it was supposed to hit Tampa. Hurricane Charlie turned
Oh,
within
okay.
1 hour. And that was my mother.
So you were
Yeah,
stuck.
Yeah, because my mother was like, "You moving to Florida?" And I'm
Well,
like,
then,
"Yeah."
and then you see the traffic.
Oh, you couldn't get out.
No, I mean the traffic leaving
Well,
sometimes.
yeah, right, but if that was done, and people talk about that here, like, oh, if there was an emergency, you couldn't get out. You couldn't get out of the valley because how do you? I said,
You
I
better
can't
get
even-
out of the valley on a
right
Thursday
at
morning.
4:00, right?
Ridiculous.
Now, how many times have you heard that when I first came out here? I'd say to them, "Where do you live?" And they go, "What time you leaving?" And I'd be like, "What does that have to do with anything?" "Oh, you're new to LA."
Yeah.
Everything is strategized.
You're
around
11 miles from where I was, right? 11 miles from where I was. And it took, and this is clear, it was a clear run. It took me about 40 minutes.
to get here, right?
Yeah, 11 miles.
Well, there was traffic. There was 2
I
accidents.
live in the valley, and I'm in Hollywood every day, right? So it takes me almost 45 minutes to get over to the valley, to Hollywood. If I'm a vet, so I go to the VA. Now, that's not very far from the valley, the 405. An hour sometimes just to get to the Galleria, right there at the 405 and the 101. An hour.
That sounds
you
about.
can't get to
No.
to get out. You can't even get to get out.
So if there was an earthquake that just shows up, I mean, it's not like
I go west, young man, west. I don't go into LA. I go the other way.
yeah, somebody said to me,
Ronald Reagan Center or something.
okay, I wouldn't even know where to go, how to get. There's not like little signs that says
Well, you're in
evacuation
trouble.
route.
Okay, let's just.
I want
face
my jetpack. I want to go straight up and get the hell out of here. Write that down. Invent my own jetpack.
Oh,
Get
there
me
you
the
go.
hell out of here. Hey, don't laugh. When they had anthrax, how many of those damn masks did fierce cells? Everybody went out and bought a mask.
Oh, I didn't.
And they were like, oh, yeah. When after 9/11, everybody thought they were going to get powdered and we were going to
Oh,
die.
9/11 was different. Maybe if
right.
you lived in New York.
But everybody was buying. They said that they couldn't keep them in those Army Navy stores.
Oh, yeah.
Gas masks because
Oh.
everybody was freaking out about what was going on. And you
In
were going to
the
get
air,
nailed
yeah.
anthrax, and you need to have this. But I remember that as a kid, them talking about pollution. As a kid,
Well, it was bad back then.
right? It was. I mean, for what they
Here
talk
it
about
was bad.
L.A., it was really bad.
I lived in Ojai, so it's always been beautiful.
Yeah, it sounds like.
Period. Have you been there?
It sounds like it. No, wait. Yes, isn't that?
Yeah.
That's way out, isn't it?
Well, it's about.
Isn't there
an
a
hour
pie?
in the-
Wait.
Yeah.
Isn't there a pie place? A famous pie place or something?
I don't know, a
Ojai?
lot of orange trees, and now it's a lot of massage places and restaurants and high end clothes and stuff. The
High-end-
movie star
oh.
goes there,
Okay, because it's like a resort kind of.
Well, it wasn't. It was always kind of. I grew up. I was there for 20 years, and I'll tell you what. I had the best childhood there was. I grew up on a ranch,
That sounds.
and the people waved to each other. The sheriffs knew your parents. And I didn't even know about racism until I was 15.
That whole. My mom. I was born in Miles City, Montana, and as a kid, going back and forth in summers, that we were. I remember they'd throw us all in the car and drive us across country,
Montana,
or
wow.
take a train ride. Oh yeah, I used to love that when they asked in school, "Where are you born?" And I felt like special because nobody was from Montana.
There's still nobody from Montana.
But
People hide in Montana.
I know, right?
They just
Of
wait
the
going,
mountains.
Montana, I
The
quit.
Unabomber, I think, was the first time anybody heard about, that whole area became. And then Redford moved there, Robert Redford.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very go-to place for anyone who's wants to get away and have beautiful, oh my God, some of the homes that are built up in the mountains are just mind-boggling.
Well, now they have kind of resort stuff area there, too. I used to snowboard a lot, but they got a lot of... don't they have some good snowboarding up there? I never snowboarded.
Yeah. You get mountains, you get snow, you're all set.
And I snowboard everywhere.
I don't
You gotta
understand
have
it.
certain mountains.
You know what? I came from New England. Everybody was into skiing, snowboarding,
Oh, you
all
have
that
good
stuff.
chowder there.
Really good chowder.
New England's a good place to relax.
It's right about now, man. The trees up in New Hampshire. My daughter was like bumming.
Everything's changing, right?
Everything. It's just gorgeous.
Beautiful.
There's a certain
The
smell in the
seasons
air.
are changing.
But then winters were too long. They suck. It's gray. It's dank. Spring doesn't even exist.
You know,
Summer's
this
a minute.
is as much winter as I like.
Yeah.
Overcast. I was telling him it sprinkled the other day. Remember it
Oh
sprinkled?
yeah, the big hoo-ha.
So I got on stage and said, "My God, I almost didn't make it because of the weather." You know, here we're just like,
Well, we are amazed. In Florida, they have whiteout rain. When I lived in Florida, literally, you had to stop because, and Lee, you're from Florida, just whiteout. So when people talked about rain here and they said people freak out and they can't drive, I'm like, how bad could it be? And then I drove and watched these people.
right.
It's like,
And then
really?
sprinkle Priuses all over.
Oh,
And
yeah,
you're
that
doomed.
too. It's like,
What is that?
That is
What's the
just-
thing about Prius owners?
I don't know
Like,
if they
I
know
almost
how much
bought
energy
one.
it takes to build one.
I almost bought one, then realized I am not a big enough ass to own one. You know what I mean?
Don't ask him. He drives.
He
bless
has a
you.
Prius?
No, he drives a big ass SUV. Does he?
Yeah. So I had. There you go. I had trucks my whole life. I can't.
They're
They're rude
imagine.
people in there,
Yes.
and that's not. They make Beverly Hills people look polite, right? Because
yeah,
they cut in and cut out. They don't park straight. I don't know what it is. I'm not making it up.
It's the kind of people who just don't give a shit.
One night, no, they're saving the environment and then pissing everyone else off because they got to suffer in that box. But one night I said I was going to do a Prius joke because I drove to the club and behind like 4 Priuses. So I was going to do something negative. And I said, how many Prius owners are in here, right? I thought it'd be one. The whole audience. And I was like, I just want to thank you for helping us with the environment. I backed out of the whole joke.
Are you
Right?
are
Flip
you good at doing that? Going out into the audience.
What?
It takes.
Going out into the audience.
Well, in other words, you know the way you engage an audience. You really, that's something that.
Well, you got to
engage them, right?
Right. So eye contact first. When you first get up there, look at everyone in the eye. When you say, "Hey, how are you?" or whatever, right? Try not to copy what everyone does. How's everybody doing tonight? You know what I mean? They're here, all right? So say, "Hey, thanks for coming." Whatever you want. Don't pander very long because you don't have that much time.
No,
when you're
I'm
there.
always.
But eye contact, I
Real important.
scan the whole room and try to make eye contact. And if I can, I even meet some of them before the show, right? Hey, how you doing? Right? But you want to make them comfortable, right? And then you want to do your comedy when you're first up there, like you would introduce yourself to a new person you meet on the street or in the office. You don't say, "Hey, my name's Jeff. You know my mom is." You don't say that, right? You know my mom's Satan. You wouldn't say that right away, right? So you'll get that. But look at it.
The idea was, I've been like watching comedians. I go to their shows and I'm so studying everything
Right.
that they're doing because if this is something that I want to do, and I'm like, everybody comes out and they're like, they say the same thing. How's everybody doing tonight? And my thing was, I'm from the East Coast, so my question would be, I'd ask how y'all doing, but I'm from the East Coast and I don't really give a shit. Because anyone who knows anyone from the, they call us massholes for a reason. And I said I wanted to meet Mark Wahlberg, and everybody was like, he's a dick. And I'm like, no, he's an asshole. I get him. Most people don't. Yeah. That was the ongoing consensus from everybody out here as far as certain people go. Everybody has something they want to say.
Don't read it out loud.
Okay.
Is it somewhere to single that out?
Yeah.
Okay, do that.
Lee, can you do me a favor? Punch in where they can find us.
Right.
Yeah, because she's and the whole thing too. It's like it's really funny about the mentality of people. You're near in LA and you come from the East Coast. Now I went from Boston down to Florida, and you've played a lot of different clubs. That has to all play into your comedy too. Is the audience that's in front of you? It's a little faster.
Well,
paced humor.
as you grow, you get material, right? And then you know how to play that material according to the audience. Because there's even clubs here in California, right? You may go from Democrats, right, to Republicans. You may go to have them both. A lot of Republicans sit up front.
Oh.
I don't know why, but I think they hate everything. But you have to play it right? So,
yeah.
So, but what I've learned is, look, sometimes, let's just say if they're a little bit hickish, right? Cowboys or whatever. See, I come from a lot of different areas, right?
Right.
So, but I'm not going to change my comedy and come out in cowboy boots, right? But I may not wear certain dress shoes. Like I was at this one place, kind of like motorcycle guys and some rednecks, cowboys, and then some African American in the back. So I had certain shoes on. I like my shoes to be fly when I go out there. But I said, oh, God, get my Vans. I need my black Vans, right? Because I got to feel comfortable in my shoes. That loosened me up, even though I wear the jackets and stuff. But it made me free enough, and they accepted it, you know?
I really am amazed at the certain amount of there's details that what you pay attention to. And I was talking to a young man, and I said to him, you know, when you go on stage, I don't think people realize how much, you know, the idea of dressing for success. I know that if there were 50 other people that night that looked like I did, dressed like I did, had the same uniform
What, like a
I did.
mechanic or a lawnmower guy? 'Cause
Yeah,
I don't
right.
know what that is.
That whole thing
Or
of
a
like
lesbian
T-shirt,
outfit on a man.
T-shirt, words on it, cap, sneakers, jeans.
I quit wearing shirts with words on it in the front, which I think is trash. I think I was 7. I've seen full-grown men wearing my children's clothes. You know what I mean? Oh, and also delivering jokes like a child.
That whole thing is like.
But it's okay because professionally, right? Here's how I look at every show. I don't care if it's a bar show or a Levity Live, a great show, huge show. You paid money. You're buying a drink. Let's say you paid no money. You're buying a drink or you're eating chicken fingers or whatever, right? You paid. Here's a show. I'm going to dress for your show. I'm not going to dress. Well, to be honest with you, I don't even dress bad behind closed doors. But if I did, I wouldn't dress on stage like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right. In the entertainment
You
world.
always dress on point. And your hair's always on point.
I'm a big
Of course,
fanatic.
you're searching, I think, for a boyfriend or something.
Yeah, right. No. I'm
Hunting.
like, I'm hiking, yeah.
She's got her spear out.
It's really kind of funny with what's going on. I pay attention to that, the styles and what, because you're creating, everybody talks about branding out here.
Right.
And yet I see a lot of people that are understanding it's a uniqueness. If you're talking about branding, you want to be unique. You want to have something.
That's hard to do.
That's, no, it ain't. Are you kidding me? Really? You feel that way?
No, I mean, here's the thing. I don't listen to comedy, okay? I don't watch comedy. I don't listen to comedy, right? If I do listen to comedy, it's trying to figure out how long their sets are on the album. That's it. But when I got into comedy, I never listened to comedy ever. Like, people would say names. Still. Now, I know a lot of stars because I'm at the Comedy Store forever. But I had full-on conversations with Dave Chappelle and didn't know it was him.
Oh, get out.
No. So, and I love him. But I have people like, you know, so-and-so, right? You just went up after him, right? I'm like, who is that? That was Kevin Hart. I can't believe it.
That was, yeah, that has to really blow people's mind because that's a huge part of.
Well, I produce shows, so TV guy, they always have a runner, right? He comes up, hey, you want so-and-so? He's here at the club, right? Oh, so-and-so? Who's that? Oh, he's got a TV show and stuff like that. Is he a comedian? No, he's on a TV show. But people know who he is. So I said, he's not a comedian? No, he's on a TV show. Was not coming on this show. But he's on a TV show. And he gets booked around the other stages, right? Because he's so-and-so on a TV show. This doesn't make you funny. You got writers. You're not coming on my show.
It's a whole different thing,
I shut
right?
him down. And actually, to be honest with you, a little bit is ego-based. Because I just
Come
love
on
looking
now.
in their face like this.
When you're but he's,
yeah, I ain't got time. There's no room. Sorry. You know what I mean? And I don't tell whoever's running the show. You know, I run the show, but the name on the show, I don't tell them until later, like a month later. Guess who we could have had? But he had an attitude.
That's hilarious.
Because first of all, they're not bringing anything to my show. Do you understand that? But if it's like a Chappelle, Bill Burr, Mark, of course they're going to be on the show because number one, they're very nice people, right? Very nice. They don't,
I'll take your word for it.
But like Chappelle, Chappelle would be hard to put on the show in the middle of the show because
it's Chappelle.
It's Chappelle,
Yeah.
right? So if that happened, I'd have to say no.
To Chappelle?
Well, the only reason I would put a big hitter on there, like Bill Burr, I caught him in the kitchen downstairs, and I said, "Hey, would you like to do the show? I got extra 10 minutes, right?" And he's like, "Sure, when?" I said, "Right now," and we'll put him on right after someone, and that's really just to give the audience a gift, right?
Right.
That's all I'm doing it for because it's not bringing more people.
Right. I've seen that where somebody pops in. Those guys are known for it.
Well, at the Comedy Store, when
and everybody tries it.
Yeah.
That's what they all live for, though.
No, but the blessing is if I have extra time, this is the great thing about the Comedy Store. I can run downstairs, go to the original room, right? I know them all, and ask, "Hey, are you in between sets or whatever?" Right? And they'll come up. Maybe a couple have said no because they have to go. But same with the improv. Maya show. Maya came up with all of them. She came up with Chappelle and Bill Burr. Not just come up like be in the area. They were all tight friends running the streets. So they're actually friends.
Yeah, there's a very tight community in comedy.
Well, she told me that it's tighter in New York.
Really?
Yeah, but
Why would you think that? Well, it's East Coast.
The thing about I people think I'm from East Coast, but the truth is
you really do have an East Coast.
Yeah, but
feel
you know
to
why? I think all my friends have been from New York or the East Coast. They've been.
You're like a cross between Joe Pesci and Tony Curtis.
I'm actually nothing. Okay, I'm a cross between nothing. I'm a mutt, and I know it, but I'm good with it. I'd like to find out what I am, but you know what? I make tuna fish like African Americans. Yeah, and I was told that.
Wait.
They're like, "How do you make tuna fish?" I said, "Okay, here's how I make it. You're not going to like it." And they said, "Well, how do you make it?" Miracle Whip, relish, right? And tuna. And they go, "You're black." I said, "What are you talking about? I've always had it this way." Right? And then there's some other things. But I also like Mexican food. My skin's dark, right? And my daughter, she's white. White, green eyes, blonde hair, 6'7".
Wow.
Well, that's what happens when you marry a redhead. Came out perfect. I knew I could shag the color of my skin if I married a redhead, right?
Is that
I didn't even love her. I just needed the tone change, And I was like, I've got to go for the tone change. We'll get a divorce later. She's 5'11".
And you got a daughter that's 6 what?
No, 5'7".
That would be the exaggeration of comedy.
No, she could be 6'12" if you want her to be.
Yeah, that even 5'11",
No, but I
man,
knew the
that's
change
tough.
would work. I did a tin change on
hilarious.
purpose, and then I didn't love her, so we got a divorce. But
No comedy in that.
that was hilarious.
Just
She took
right there.
everything. It was amazing to see.
Really?
Yeah, I
Wait,
said,
how
listen,
long were you married?
4 years.
Okay, that's
Years ago. But I said this. Look, take everything you need for Allie, right? That's her name. And just leave me what you can, right? I get home, and there's a plate, a fork, and a knife in the kitchen. That's it. On the floor, because there was no dining room anymore, right? So I did what all men would do. I went and bought another truck, brand new one, and retired for 6 months, partying and stuff.
right.
Yeah. And then
Yeah,
went
well, you
back
had
to
to
work.
heal.
I was healing.
That's
in
so
the
funny.
sickest of ways.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's something within itself. It's funny. I went and saw the movie A Star Is Born, which.
Oh, I want to see that.
it's-
Heather just saw that. Heather McConnell.
And you already know it's the series. This is the third one, the remake. The
heard it
original
was
was
good.
Judy Garland. It was
Decent.
phenomenal.
Okay.
The what's funny is her name's Allie, and she and she dyes her hair red. Lady Gaga, right? So that's funny. That's your. And
Oh my God! I'm supposed to marry her.
Chappelle actually does a cameo, and he overbooked. Like when they do the credits.
What do you mean you overbooked?
When they do the credits, the guy who had more time on screen, Sam, what the hell's his Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
He played the brother, had more time on screen. Dave Chappelle has this little part, but he in the credits.
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle then with Sam
Well, yeah,
Elliott.
because Dave Chappelle.
It's Dave
king
Chappelle.
Right now.
I love that.
He's the king.
I love that. Yeah, he's GOAT, man. You hear that and you see this like, it's really interesting to see the different characters because he's not just a comedian. He has so many facets to him as Dave Chappelle.
So many characters.
Yeah.
Maya does that too. Tons of characters. That's something I don't do. Lots of characters in the comedy. You know what I've learned with comedy, being with higher ups of comedy, so many facets of comedy. You know what I mean? It's not about the joke. It's like an onion, peel it and peel it and peel it.
I hear that.
So much, right? So it's facial expressions, to me, we can break it all down. It's delivery, right? And how you deliver it, the facial expression. I see comics, there's a couple comics. One's actor, they're actors kind of, really, if you think about it. They could do 5 minutes without making a sound. Just on...
Facial expression?
Yeah, facial expression movements. I've seen it.
Yeah, that, believe it or not, I'm watching, like I said before I did my 5 minutes, I OD'd on all kinds of tutorials and videos.
You gotta be careful about that. Because you end up coming out those characters out there.
Well, right? But what it did say that when you stop and you watch, I already knew that. One of the most profound things was watching Flip Wilson.
Okay, those are the ones I knew. When people ask me, what comics do you know, Brian? I'm like, I don't know, Red Fox, Flip Wilson, Richard Pryor. I forgot about Chico the Man. He blew his head off, but I remember him. But those are the, Bob Hope and the old ones. That's what I grew up with. That's the shows we watch.
Incredible storytellers. And it's really funny because I had a young man today and he's like, well, I do jokes and people tell me when you're up there, you're being a dick. I said, well, you could master that art. Don Rickles, you did not want to get into, he was known for that. I mean, comedy.
Well, that's the one thing, though. Listen, because I went back and watched. This is when I started comedy. I said, okay, I'll watch comedy. My friend kept saying, you got to go watch some comedy, right? So, okay, I'll watch all the dead ones, right? I'll look up all the dead ones. And then I'll watch the old ones. And that's it, right? And the thing they had was multiple talent. They didn't just do jokes. Okay, today we get over. We have internet, we do just jokes. I'm talking about dancing and singing and tapping, and not BS tapping and stuff. These guys are choreographed, trained. They play instruments, they sing, they do acting. A multitude of people. They had no internet, They're masters. Yeah, I watched Flip Wilson and Rich Pryor, right, together. Real old scene with those two. It was hilarious. Because Flip just took over the whole script.
And a lot of comedians don't even bring him up. And I'm like, do you realize?
Because they don't remember. They don't even know.
It's a shame because he had a variety show during a time, you remember, that was not common to hand the reins over that way. And it was extreme.
Well, I saw old Richard Pryor. When he was playing that TV show. Remember, he's on a TV show. So he had tried to make his hair look like a white man's, right? And his jokes were completely white.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't Richard.
No, but he had the job.
He had a job. Right.
But then when he broke out after that, because he about exploded. And when he broke out, that was it.
Well, just look at the opposite, the way Red Fox was when you heard his albums as to playing on Sanford and Son.
Well, see, I knew him as Sanford and Son, right?
Yeah, I didn't know about the other side of it.
There were all that whole cast on Sanford and Son, right? Richard Pryor wrote that show.
Dick Gregory.
Right. Richard Pryor wrote that show.
Did he really?
Yeah, if you you need to go back to Flip, you need to go back to that show. You can do it tonight and Google it, right? Listen to who's doing the commercial. It's Richard Pryor.
That's amazing.
He's
I
talking.
love this kind of stuff.
He's reading the credits.
Wow.
He wrote that show.
Wow.
That's why when he died, he was worth $40 million. Hadn't worked forever, right? Because he was a writer. He's a writer. Now it makes sense when you look at Sanford and Son, because all those people in Sanford and Son were great comedians.
Yeah,
all of them. There was or great musicians. They were all classic people.
And Aunt Esther. I mean, all
of them.
All of them.
She was old. Not Broadway. Not Cotton Club. The old. What do they call it? The theater. Yeah, all vaudeville.
That timing. You know, the things that you don't get to see a lot of anymore, but the incredible artistic talent of how, as the chemistry of everyone on
Yeah.
that set, you get that magic.
You know why you
Well,
don't get to see
Seinfeld-
it? You know why you don't get to see it?
Why?
Because these people are simpletons. They don't want to get into the art. They want to get into fame and fortune. And
Instant.
really, here's the hit. You start creating art again, and then you're going to see an influx. Like the show we do at the Improv, it's like the Copacabana. So we have characters that pop out of nowhere. I got a spotlight. We got tap dancing when we open up and stuff, and spotlighting. It's a real show, right? And here's what I hear afterwards. I've never seen that before. I can't believe that's such a great idea. You'd open up with hoofing, right? Oh yeah, it's been around 100 years. You know what I mean? They used to do it 100 years ago.
Right.
But people with the internet section, there's a big block of not even that young anymore, 30-year-olds who have not seen or witnessed this stuff.
right.
It's not ignorance. It's not knowing. So when you bring them something like that, it's exciting.
Well, that's because everything that they're getting is 60 seconds on Instagram.
That's right. We don't
And-
have time for it.
and-
I think they should put a rotary phone in a cell phone, and then nobody texts and drive. Because you'd be like that. Can you imagine? You didn't call me. It takes too long to dial.
Listen, it is amazing to me when all the different things about what is going on with the phones today. But the most amazing thing is that you know the saying, "Stay away from the light." That's what they were talking about. The technology. Everybody
Well, all
is
of
just
it.
disappearing.
I mean, you know what? You can't. Okay, so in the 70s, right? Comedians went to New York and hit the clubs,
Right.
like 20 a day or something, right? And still worked jobs.
Right.
Think about this is what I think about. He's one of my heroes. Is Charlie Chaplin? He was famous here before he ever got here. And that's not with internet. You know what I mean? That's with teletype. You know, that guy got paid $3.5 million in 1926.
Holy smoke.
And he signed that contract twice. He got paid another 3-something million. I don't know. He was 24 or 25 years old. Got another 3-point-something million after that. But the bottom fell out of our country. He had already got paid. He was worth, when they kicked him out of this country, I think he was worth $16 or $17 million. That's why he hung out with, whatchamacallit, the richest man in the world at the time.
Rockefeller?
Yeah, they were tight. Because he's rich. That's a nickel a movie, okay? That's why he started his own production company. You know, he used to own all of Highland,
Well,
Hollywood and Highland. All those old buildings, those were his.
wow.
Still. Back then, you know, that was his dressing room and stuff. You know, there's orange orchards back then and stuff. But I saw that, and, you know, he had owned a few buildings here, and RKO or whatever that was, TMs or whatever, he owned half of that.
So
And so he was, and a nickel a movie, no internet. Funniest man. in the
That's
world.
and not a word on that stage.
Oh, yeah, and silent.
and not in
silent.
silent.
film.
And someone said that I had a young brother on the show, and I said, you know, everybody was talking about their favorite comedians, and he said, guess who mine was? And nobody could guess, and he said Charlie Chaplin. He said the reason for that was he didn't need words. Everything he did was expression, was delivering. And you don't see that. And I'm like, there's a lot to be said about where you get inspired from. And right now, everybody wants a quick hit, get rich. I want to make it tomorrow. Instagram has opened up a whole new thing. But, you know, watching everybody that I see on Instagram, we were talking about this with content. And I'm like, it all kind of looks the same. Relationship.
It is the same because they're
60
getting
seconds,
it. They're getting
getting
it from the
huge
same
hits.
source. You know, my favorite comedian. I don't cuss on stage. Once in a while, I'll slip a word, but and it was hard to get rid of the cuss words.
I was going to say.
It was. No, but that was a challenge for me, right? My first year, you cuss a little bit because you're nervous and you're doing filler.
Right. But
Right.
did you use
Do
other
we
words
need to
like
hear-
freaking or
No, I don't play.
you just
Either
okay.
deliver it or don't, right?
Oh, I like that.
So,
That's a good challenge.
well,
I
it
might
took
take
me a
you up
while
on
to
it.
do it. It took me a while to do it. But what to me now is I count the F words on people and the cuss words because I know that's how lacking they are in material. So, if you're in deep in a set and it's applicable, but the truth is, if I hear 6 or 12 cuss words, sometimes it comes. It depends where you're doing your stuff too,
Right.
right? But there's a point when it's too much, right?
Right.
And sometimes there's really old people in the audience. This one comedian, he does filthy jokes and sexual connotations, right? And it's sick. He's kind of funny though. 'Cause he's from New York, so it's kind of funny delivery. There's two 80-year-old women in the audience. You know what he did? He used all medical terms.
No, it's,
He changed all those cuss words and everything into medical terms, and it was hilarious.
oh, that sounds like it would.
Because that
be.
was his 280-year-olds. He's like, and instead of changing it set, he just did it completely proper with the word
those are the
penis
type-
and
I
vagina
love that.
and
Love
just
that type
changed
mind.
it.
You do know that ability to be creative. I love that type mind. And the amount of like, I go into the clubs and everybody. It's like everybody today wants to be a comedian. It's
Well, everybody thinks they're a comedian. And newsflash, 70, and I'm being very polite because I know what I really think. 70% of all those people that are comedians are not comedians. So I didn't call myself a comedian for over a year. And now that I am a comedian, I still don't want to call me a comedian because I see what people, just because you go on stage doesn't mean you're a comedian. But we can't say anything because if it was a guitarist and he went up there and he couldn't play the guitar, we'd know he's not a musician, right?
Well,
But
we say that you can't fake funny.
Because, people are doing it all the time. I see it sometimes. I want to quit or poke holes in my ears. I did open mic.
we meant to warn him
And
about
next
that
in
one.
the ring, the next one up for the ring is...
Want to help him with that?
No, listen, I didn't break it.
No, that has been an issue.
No, it's more than an
like-
issue.
it's
It's
like-
actually happening. Yeah, it's not an issue. An issue would be
Wait,
it might
I
fall
should have
out.
said an unresolved issue.
Oh, will we call this? Give me some duct tape.
Yeah.
Duct tape fixes everything.
Okay, well, I just won't touch it. I'm ADHD, so. you're
No,
asking a
you.
lot. You're asking a lot.
Now, for our generation, we talk about that. Like, there were no medical terms for like itchy, scratchy ass in class. I went to Catholic school, so if you got too uppity and wired and running around, they
They put you in the corner.
I'm always saying, they want to give teachers guns. I'm like, get rid of the guns, bring back the nuns, because between
beat
their
it out of you?
ninja beads, they look like little black ninjas with the, I had the St. Joseph nuns with the, with the black all the way to the floor and,
I
and
like
the
a
rosary
good nun
beads.
outfit, though.
Oh, wait, remember asking that. So what do you wear underneath that?
Well, I read my little report cards, when I was in kindergarten, first grade, and said, Jeff took his hyper pills again. I remember I got the whole class to jump the fence.
Oh,
And some kid broke his arm, so I got in trouble with that.
a little bit.
Or they'd put me in the corner. Now, he's hyper. Let's put him in the corner and make him look at the wall. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing how,
but
nowadays
now
they
they
just
have
sedate 'em.
pills for everything.
Yeah, they have pills for everything. I remember that. And then, I couldn't focus if I wasn't doodling. So I'm an artist, so I'd have to be drawing to shut everything down so I could pay attention to what the teacher was saying. And then I used to get, and you're drawing those pictures, and I bet you can't. And I loved it because I did have a teacher who understood how my mind was wired, and she knew that.
Or they'd say you're special needs.
Well, that too, but
I didn't get that. But,
No, I
but
was-
here's the thing. All my tests, even in high school, the teacher would call my parents and say, look, the test, let's say there's 50 questions, 1 to 25, all correct, right? 25 to 50, completely made up. Because I would say, oh, I know this, and then just forget the rest.
Just forget the
on
rest.
all my tests. So they started grading me. I was very spoiled. Half of my test is the grade.
Yeah, you think about that and how much that helped. Now, I have to say, your jump from what you were doing for a living and then your jump into comedy, you didn't question it. You just went right.
Well, because, okay, here's the thing. I've always worked, right? I've always had good paying jobs, hard-working jobs, right? But I love all that stuff. I love the danger. I cut freeways. I cut my thumb off, right? So when the work started slowing down, my legs were getting really bad, right? My knees. And then my friend pushed me into comedy, and I started it a little bit. In fact, here's why I didn't think I could do comedy. I was working 12-hour days and then doing comedy at night, and I'm like, oh, my God, I'm so old that 1 o'clock is late, right? I don't think I can do comedy unless I do an old folks home, and it's like 3 in the afternoon on a Sunday, and they're serving a brunch. You know what I mean? Then I could probably make it. Do you have a sauna? No, but then the work slowed down. Instead of me picking up another job like normal, I just make phone calls and I filled out one application in my whole life. Wow. So making a phone call and going nailing a big job again. I said, I think I'm gonna let it slide, right? And I'm gonna do this comedy. So I started doing the comedy, and I knew I made it and was a comedian finally. About 2-year mark, I was broke, and I went from a certain amount of money a year, 75% less, right?
Right.
And you still have the Mercedes and the internet and the furniture and the bills, right? And I remember getting on stage going, okay, I finally made it to be a comic. I am broke. Because I was doing comedy and ordering dinner at the shows, right? Like having dinner and people having wine and stuff. Oh, I'm a comedian. You know what I mean? Then it was like, hey, you got any money for a hot dog? I'm starving. Right? But I have a daughter, so I have to make a certain income.
Okay.
Period. So I did side jobs. I did a lot of side jobs. And, you can't, when you have a kid, here's the thing about raising a daughter. I am a single father. She lives with me, right? So as a single father, they have to have everything. I was spoiled. So we're in an apartment, which is not spoiling her. And so I need to make sure she has the internet, her laptop, her cell phones, top of the notch all the time, and anything she needs. That's important to me, right? So the bad thing about raising a kid is you can't just blow off the bills, right? Because if it was just me, Jeff Husbands, I'd be in the car out front, like saving money. Like, power's off, that's fine. You know what I mean? But you
can't do that with kids.
No, you got to keep cable on.
Right.
Even.
Right.
Like, there is no lapse. You don't get to lapse, right? You have to pay those bills. Even if that's all you can pay. It's like no new shoes for Jeff, right? But she's got to get shoes. But I've been lucky because it all works out all the time.
Right. That and, there's something to be said about learning a trade and doing stuff like coming out here. Yeah, I come from a high-end furniture retail background, okay? But we owned restaurants, so I have the restaurant and serving is perfect for out here.
Yeah.
Because if you want to have a flexible schedule, I can't go back into retail. It ain't about the money anymore. I've already had that life, okay? So now it's like my last hurrah to kind of like just do what I didn't. I've never been on my own, so I've never gotten to do any of those things. So having fun.
Comedy's scarier than combat. Yeah. I've been in firefights. And the first time I did my own first show, of course I wore a tux and stuff, sweating to death. I went to get on stage as the Ha Ha Club. And I remember the blood leaving my legs to where I almost collapsed. And I had gone over my set so much. I read it perfectly. But there was zero personality in it. You know what I mean? But I hit every mark. That's when I learned I can't do a script comedy.
Right.
I have to have it nailed down, go over my comedy. But I have little fluctuations in there, right? But then my other friend, who's a great comedian, she has shown me, because you keep growing. You go with the pros and you keep learning more and more. She showed me how taking one word out of her thing.
Yep.
Now, you may get laughs, but you put that word back in, and it's a real laugh. She gets those clapping breaks, right? I got my first clapping break, and I told the audience, I didn't know what that was. And I was like, would you stop? I'm losing concentration. And then they clapped even more.
That's
she
huge.
gets at least three per show.
Yeah, that's huge. That acknowledgement of like they appreciate the brilliance of what you've written.
Right.
And someone told me
you gotta put the work in, okay? Here's another thing. You gotta put the work in. That's no joke. I thought I was a killer pushing, till I got with Heather and Maya, and they're monsters and beasts too. And at such a level, right? To where I meshed right in. Like, I'm not the only psycho out here working 110 hours a week.
No. And
right? But 5 a.m, we finish, we're going home. But I know there's someone working till 6 a.m. You know?
You hear the schedules of all these guys that are running, you know, and of course they're on Instagram, you can follow them, and I'm like, I don't know how they do it. And some of them have families, and it's a drive that they go to their jobs are done, and like you said, you still, especially those who still have to provide for their families.
The show.
No.
It's really actually time to start printing and going over some material. And I have friends, not many, but I have a couple, that when I get off stage and I have a great set, they don't say you had a great set, right? And I don't want them to. They say this: you can do this, you can do that, you missed this, right? Not mean, but it brings it up a notch, because you could say this: well, what is that? I killed it. No, there's other levels. Even when I have a good set, another friend of mine the other night had a good set at Levity. Audience was killing the MC and the guest spot, which I love to go into battle with that. And I had a really good set. And then they said to me, it was a really good set. I've seen you do better. You know what I mean? That's what I want. Because it's
so they
full
want right,
commitment.
they push you to the next level.
Well, they were completely satisfied with what I did. But they've seen me go higher. Because there's moments when you're really, you know, to me, it's like, I come from a man world.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go into the arts, like, I don't even, people say, you're an artist. Like, knock it off. You know what I mean? I do comedy. I know artists. But you can I prance around? Can I do a twirl? Right? Can I wear a purse and a boa? You know what I mean? Yes, I can. And be free about it, right? You let go of that crap. It's all ego-based stuff we were raised with as men, right?
Right.
It doesn't get you funny, right? And so I love it. It's freedom. I'm completely free. I carry a purse, right? And I do it on purpose. I know.
You don't call it a man bag or a satchel
It's
or
a damn purse.
They call it satchel.
It was a purse before I got it.
Right?
So now I'm holding it something else.
Oh, that's hilarious.
No, it's Gucci, I think. I was saying, what company is this? That's the Gucci thing.
That's the other thing. You know what I still can't get used to? I always think of them just the backpack thing. Backpacks me.
Well, they ride buses.
Right.
So it's probably
they have to have that. But in my mind, I get that. But I'm always like thinking, kids going to school. Just there's something not manly about a backpack. I know. And the Gucci or whatever it is that everybody's a Louis Vuitton, everybody's all crazy about.
The reason I carry a bag is I have so much stuff in there.
We had 1 whole hour already. That's
We're
my
done?
signal. We're done. Man, this was a blast. I hope.
Shout out to Maya.
Shout out to Maya.
Giorgio.
She's coming up. Maya DeGiorgio. She's
11th October at the Hollywood Improv.
Yeah, and she said she's coming on next
and Heather
Tuesday.
McConnell. You're going to get her too.
That sounds good. I'll be looking forward to that.
I hope you can make the show.
And Jeff Husbands, you guys got to check him out. Check him out on Instagram. Check him out on Facebook. You on Twitter?
I'm on Twitter too. Jeff Husbands Comedy.
Just incredible energy. I'll see you guys.
Awesome.
Thank you, Lee. Take it out. Take it down. I'll see you out there.
Put around your neck, you look chewy. Blow 10 grand, please excuse me. Bless me real good, I need a hero cookie.
I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, I'm a big tipper. I'm a tipper, yeah, I'm a big